Welcome, everybody, to this Trainwreck Sports Podcast, and we are here to pay the bills. We're tired. It's a Buffalo Bills podcast. I'm coming to you from Chicago, Illinois. Jake Micah, as always, here with my friend Rob Ryan, coming to you from somewhere in the New York City area. So, yeah, Bills podcast, and we're coming right from the outskirts of the two big cities, meeting right in the middle to talk. What else are we going to talk about? It's Monday Night Football coming up this next Monday. We're 4 days away now. Bills, Jets, September 11th. Aaron Rodgers' first game at home. I mean, the hype's been there since the schedule got announced. So had to bring my good friend Rob in here to talk all things Jets. Rob, how you feeling tonight, man?
I'm feeling great. I mean, it's finally football season. Haven't felt good about a football season almost my whole life. It's just a whole different vibe around here in the New York City, Jersey area, Long Island area. We're feeling good, and we're just ready for Monday night to come by.
So that's where I want to start with you, because just more than anything, and I think I don't know if, and this is me speaking from a perspective of a Bills fan that I'm not getting in with as petty as some fans will get, but I feel like the more of the ire is towards the Dolphins than the Jets, just because of the matchups and stuff last year. But the more, I feel like the anxiety is higher towards the Jets because it's an unknown, and also just because I was going to say number 12, but number 8 back there, we really don't know what to expect from him this year. Like, is it going to be more of last year, or is it going to be back-to-back MVP? And I feel like it's probably somewhere in the middle, but it's going to be very good. And compared to what you guys had last year, I mean, not even counting like the history of your life as a Jets fan, but just last year, how that team looked, and just being like, man, if we just had Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback, or something like that, like what could this look like? So how does it feel to just have even just Aaron, the experience of having Aaron around, even just in the summer and the hype and everything else? How has that kind of felt? Just surreal, I'm sure, but
I still don't believe it's real, and I have to wait till Monday night to finally see him play in a real game. Obviously, we saw the 2 series in the preseason. We saw the unbelievable throw to Garrett Wilson, but coming off of last year, like you said, at most people around the league, and especially in that Jets front office, just knew if they had a QB, they were winning at least 3 or 4 more games and making to the playoffs. It's with that defense, all you really need, like you said, is a Teddy Bridgewater. But now with the Aaron Rodgers type level QB here, the ceiling is non-existent. This team can go as far as they please if they play the way they should play. And it's not like the last year where the defense had to carry every week. We actually have an offense now, so the defense, I think, is going to be one of the best in the league still. But with Aaron Rodgers in that offensive room, I mean, anything is possible.
yeah, and that's how you should feel. Like, literally, the sky is the limit. The talent's there, everything. I mean, that's my biggest thing with the Jets. I feel like I put out my playoff predictions today. Obviously, I still think the Bills are going to win the division, but the Jets are the team. I think if you're picking, and I do think it's going to be the wild card regardless. If it's the Bills or the Jets in that wild card race, and I think they're both going to be in the race because the division race is going to be so close. I think the AFC wildcard this year is going to be just a war zone of teams that we're all like, damn, 2 of these teams are going to have to miss the playoffs. Like, I feel like we thought they were going to win the Super Bowl at some point during the year. So I feel like that's what we're heading towards. But this Jets team just feels like the floor has been raised so high to a point where I'm like, man, after last year and just the improvements that they've made, like if they win, like minimum, it has to be like an 8-win team, 9-win team, I feel like. And that 9 to 10 range is going to be what gets you into a wild card spot, and you're going to just have to win, some key games here or there. But I feel like it's 10 or 11, and even 12 is where this team kind of sits looking at it from the outside perspective. Does that sound good to you? Does a 12-win season sound nice?
I mean, that would be fantastic. When's the last time I've ever seen a 12-win Jets team? But you're right. If this team only wins 8 or 9, that could even be a disappointment for how the talk was, how Aaron Rodgers came in. I mean, to have a successful season, we obviously want playoffs, but you need to be in that 10, 11, 12 win season. An 8 or 9 win season is just going to be as bad as what we've seen the last few years, where it's a 5 win or less win team, in my opinion.
For sure. So then, how much of an emphasis in New York right now among Jets fans? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of just hype around the Jets and Giants going on right now. 2 big games this weekend, obviously Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football following up. But specifically for the Jets and everything going on, what's the hype? What's the temperature around just Monday night, and how big of a deal is it? Is it thinking okay, we need to come out, beat the Bills, make a statement? Or is there more of a it's the first game, we know the energy around it, let's see how the whole thing works out, because we're gonna have we know that this guy's gonna get acclimated sooner than later? So where is it? Is it kind of in the middle of that? Is there some trepidation, or is it all just let's just roll it out there and see what happens?
Yeah, I think it's definitely in the middle. We got some fans where they think there's no chance that we lose, and then there's more of the fans where it's going to take some time to acclimate. It's a whole new offense, brand new offensive coordinator, obviously a brand new QB. They've only had 2 series of actual football time, which was against backups. So I really think it's a more acclimating time for at least the first few games. What's hard is that the Jets season could be make or break in the first 6 weeks. So they really do need to figure something out. But with the defense they have, it's mostly all returning guys. Obviously, another year of Sauce, another year of Quinn Williams. The Jets defense, just like last year, is going to have to carry them in the first few weeks. But, I mean, I think once that offense gets rolling, who knows what happens. But I definitely think it's going to be a slow start on Monday.
I mean, even they really are putting you guys through the ringer right away with the first 8 weeks. You got this Bills game, then to Dallas, hosting the Patriots, hosting the Chiefs, at the Broncos, which who knows what the Broncos look like in this scenario, obviously, but it's a Nathaniel Hackett game. The Eagles, then that's 6 weeks, but then you have at Giants hosting the Chargers. So that feels like 8 weeks of just pure, and then it's noticeably easier the second half with a lot of some better opportunities. But AFC East, we know the schedule on the AFC East side is just brutal this year. I think the Jets are up there. I know the Bills and Patriots are 1 and 2 or 3 in strength of schedule, or 1 and 2. I think the Dolphins are 9 or something. So the AFC East schedule is going to be brutal this year. So yeah, we're going to learn a lot. And that's what I wonder about this first game, though, because I feel like there's the stats going around that Rodgers has kind of been slow in the last couple week ones. And just it's a lot of new pieces. I know that the Jets defense specifically has played Josh Allen well, but Robert Saleh last time coaching, Robert Saleh led defense on Monday Night Football against Josh Allen, was one of the best performances of Josh Allen's career in that Niners-Bills COVID season game. So there is precedent for Allen to have success. So this is where we'll shift to the Bills gear a little bit, because I want to know, you have a unique perspective here because you're obviously a member here at Trainwreck Sports. You went to UB. You're very closely associated with the Buffalo community. So you have more of an inside perspective on Bills fans and what the, I guess, psyche of the total fan base has been, which has been chaotic to say the least. But as a Jets fan looking in, what do you expect from the Bills this season?
Yeah, I think you just expect more of the same. As long as they can stay healthy, they'll be competing for that for the division. They'll be competing in the playoffs against the Chiefs once again. But I think it's all about health for that team. And obviously, they got a new, or I don't even know if they got a new DC. I think it might be McDermott.
It's just Sean. He's just taking over.
So he's just taking over. We've seen in the past where that defense is really what hurt them, even though they had a great defense. The play calling on the defensive side, I think it's just all going to be the same. And if Josh can, so I know some people say last year he had a little bit of a down year with the interceptions and the fumbles. So I think it really all depends on Josh and how that defense works. If they can finally get that step up, but obviously it's not going to be an easy run for the division like they've had in the last few years. So it adds another layer to the got to get back to the playoffs to see the Chiefs. So it's a whole different aspect for them. But I have no reason to say that they're going to not do the same that they've been doing for the last few years.
And that's what it really comes down to for me is you brought up a lot of different things. And then at the end, you're like, yeah, but they're still going to be hanging around there. And that's just kind of what I feel this team is at. Like this, just the build where they're at in the build, they're going to be good no matter what. Now, could they be an 11-6, 10-7 team that loses the division and has to play in the wild card game this year? Yeah, I think that that's possible for all the reasons you said. The defense is old, man. Like the defense, and it's guys that maybe this is their last year of all pro performance, but Hyde and Poyer, one of these years, it's going to slip for one of them or both of them, and it's going to be quick. That's how it always works in the secondary. So that could be any moment this year. Vaughn coming back from an ACL. I'm a person that thinks ACL, you're usually better on your second year back. And he's supposed to come back and have an impact. And I still think Vaughn can come back and have an impact just because his presence, and he's also a freak. Like he is unlike he is maybe a top 1% athlete in the NFL, the way he's been effective. So if anybody can do it, it's Vaughn at his age, but I'm glad that they added the pieces. But that's real questions about the defense and their age and guys that are supposed to be in key spots. But what you said, it's just down to Josh. If Josh eliminates turnovers, specifically red zone efficiency, not even turnovers, but if they're just more efficient in the red zone and he improves there, and he got hurt last year against you guys. Like we all saw that play. I thought he was going to be done for the year. Honestly, it looked like he torqued back on it bad. Clearly it affected him, more than he let on for the rest of the year. So let's see him healthy and see what that happens. But I still feel like this is 11-6, 12-5, like I was talking about with the Jets. And with the Jets, that's why I think this game is so big week 1, because I really feel like, I'm not just trying to gas you up, Rob, because I did it earlier this morning. Like, I don't think the Dolphins are on this level of the Jets. And it just comes down to it's Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen and then Tua Tagovailoa. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, there's clearly an echelon here that I think we have to follow. I think we just have to.
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen what happens with Tua the last year. I mean, it could happen again. I'm not going to say it is because I know a lot of both of our fans.
But that's a concern, bro. He said he thought he was going to retire for a portion. Like, that's not what you want to hear from your starting franchise quarterback, regardless if it was worthy or not.
They got the Tua problems, and then even they have injury problems galore right now. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey is out until at least December.
That's huge, yeah.
I think who's their left tackle? Why am I blanking on their name? He's hurt right now.
Yep. He's always hurt too, Armstead.
Yeah. So they got some injury problems, and they're one or two more injuries away from only competing with the Patriots, which is, obviously not many think they're going to be anything this year. But I just don't see them unless they can stay healthy for 17 weeks, which no team can. I'm not factoring them. They're going to compete. They could get a wild card, but I'm not really factoring them into a division race down at the end of the season.
That's why I feel like they're more of their ceiling. I don't think they can get to 13 wins. I just don't see that with that roster. I think the Bills and Jets, the Bills I can see anything, honestly. The Jets I can see being a 13, best case scenario, they could be a 13-14 win team. If everything clicks, that defense is exactly what it was last year, maybe a little better. And Rodgers and the offense, if everything's the same, and then you have Aaron Rodgers, that team's going to win 12 games. Like, that's just, and I think Rodgers last year, motivation level's a real thing. Dude did not want to be in Green Bay, did not want to work with these receivers, didn't show up to OTAs, didn't do all these extra things that a leader should do at the thing. And he's been engaged, and that's motivation is such a big thing. And must be nice, Aaron, to be able to be unmotivated for a year and then get paid whatever deal he's got this extension with. But he has earned that right at this point. And the fact that he's engaged, I don't know if he's going to be an MVP caliber player this year. And I don't know if I would ever bet on that for the rest of his career.
And he doesn't have to be. No.
Doesn't have to be, though. Exactly. And in this AFC race, he really just, like, all of a sudden, even if he's just a top 10 guy, not a top 5 guy, they're right in there. And you look at teams that are just like the teams that they're like mentioned it earlier. If they can't reach the Bills and the Chiefs and the Bengals, which it's just that's a lofty goal for a team in their first year of this. It's going to be hard to like those teams have been winning 10 plus 11 plus games years and years and years straight. So if they can't get to that, and then we're looking at the next group where you're talking about the Steelers, the Ravens, or Cincy, whoever that second place team is, you know, the Dolphins and the Titans, whoever that range of the Chargers, Broncos, whoever that range of team is, like I feel pretty damn good about the Jets compared to that second layer. It's really the question is whether they deserve to be in the contender tier for me in the AFC more, and more that remains to be seen. That the pieces are all there, need to see that. But I feel like when we're comparing them to those teams, like they better be better than those teams. That's what I'm saying. And they should be like the Jags or the Jets as that fourth place should be like right where we are right now, and then seeing who's one of those is going up there. That's just what the roster looks like, and that's what this team should be this year if it all goes right. Because Aaron, if he's locked in, it's going to be better than last year. Like I just don't see how it isn't.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. That's where I'm at right now. Obviously, we have the 3 teams, like you mentioned. We have the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Bills, who have been here for a few years. They know what it's like to get to that final game, the AFC Championship. Obviously, only one of them knows, or 2 of them actually. I forgot Bengals. They also made the Super Bowl. So the 2 of the 3 teams know what it's like to get to that final game. And then with this Jets team, there's only 1 and 2, maybe I'm thinking 2 or 3 that's really got it to that level. It's really mostly first, second, third year players leading this team with a couple of veteran options. So it's really that's why I'm saying a lot of people are like Super Bowl or bust, Super Bowl bust. I disagree. I think Rodgers has rejuvenized his career. I think he's here for at least 2, maybe 3 years. So I really think next year is that year where it's winner or bust. This year, you just got to get to just the divisional round. I just want a divisional round.
Win a playoff game, yeah.
Yeah, win a playoff game. We got so many young talent. Obviously, I started mentioning before, we got Sauce. We have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall coming back from the ACL. We have Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald. We have all these young players that should be stars, if not already stars. And just that another year of building with Aaron Rodgers already under center for 1 year. I mean, this year could be it. I mean, we never know if Aaron Rodgers comes out firing. We have a healthy Breece Hall, a healthy Dalvin Cook, a healthy offensive line. Who knows what can happen? But I'm really just hoping for a playoff win, and we'll go from there.
Hey, I think that those are pretty not lofty expectations. I feel like that's where they should be in. They should be in that opening weekend playing somebody, whether it's at MetLife or on the road. That's where we're at. So we think that the rest of the division, I think we're pretty aligned then. That I think the Bills and Jets will be around 10 to 12 wins, however it shuffles out. That'll be it. I think the Dolphins will be at 10 to 9, but they'll lose that tiebreaker, maybe make the playoffs, maybe not. I think the Patriots probably is still a 7. I still think they're a solid team, and I think Mac's going to be way better this year because they actually have coaches and offensive coaches on their staff to help them out. But that still feels like 7 to 8 wins, and I feel like that's what we're kind of expecting from the division, right?
Yeah, I agree. I still think the Bills get that number 1 spot, but I really think the Jets could only be 1 or 2 games right behind it. Anything can happen, really, those last few weeks of the season. Dolphins, like you're saying, you never really know with them. They could be all over the place. They can easily be a 5-win team. They could easily be a 10 or 11-win team, depending on the injuries they occur over the year. And the Patriots, they're always somehow competing. Just they're always not really competing, but they're always in that like middle of the range pack team, like the 10 through 20 pick range. Yep. But I really don't think they have any shot to really compete with any of the 3 teams, really. As long as there's all 3 teams stay healthy, I really just I don't like Mac Jones. I don't care who their OC is. I just don't think he's really a fit to be an NFL QB. I think he's too soft. Patriots fans are going to come at me, but I just don't like that team. They always kill the Jets. They'll probably still find a way to win one of the games against the Jets. We haven't beat the Patriots since 2015. but I just
Bill
don't
has
see
it out
them.
for you guys. That's part of the
Yeah,
problem too. He
but hey,
really
there's no
does.
rookie QB from to kill anymore. So how about that, Bill? But I don't see them being in that other. There's the three teams, and then there's the Patriots. Which I mean, when have we ever said that? When have we ever said Patriots are the worst team in the division? Which just feels great for any team, for any of the teams in the AFC East. I mean, we're loving it. We saw what they did for 20 years with Tom Brady, and now to see what they are, I don't care what happens. I just want to see them in fourth place.
I agree. We should all just be cherishing the fact that the Patriots are going to be last place again, and Bill's going to have something leaked soon too. Did you see those tweets?
I saw that about his ex girlfriend.
What could be getting leaked about Bill? Was he a dirty dog or what? Who knows? But the Pats got some other issues. The Pats got some other things going on too. So all right, let's just talk about straight Monday night. Enough big picture talk. We've got a game on Monday night. Bills, Jets, week 1, September 11th. It's Monday is the date. I'm sure there's going to be stuff going on commemorating the date at both the Jets game and the Giants game. So the atmosphere is going to be one of a kind, honestly. One of a kind kind of atmosphere for a football game. I'm sure the Jets fans are going to be going crazy there. And they've had great success against Josh Allen. Like I think they've defended if you look at his stats, and obviously they played way more games against Josh than most teams would, but he's had the most trouble against the Jets. But also Aaron Rodgers, week 1s, just they haven't been good the last couple of years, and the Bills have been game planning for it. We'll see what the Sean McDermott defense. So what are you expecting? Just it's night 1. I feel like it's going to be a barn burner no matter what. I feel like it's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I don't really see a high scoring game just because, like you said, Jets have usually been very good at defending a Josh Allen led team. And then obviously I think the Jets offense is going to start out slow. Obviously, both running backs are coming off of injuries. Obviously, one's more severe, but with Brees's ACL, and then with Dalvin, he hasn't really practiced, so we don't really know what's going on with that. So I think, and then the wide receiver room, obviously, it's very minimal after Corey Davis retiring. It's really Garrett Wilson and Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard. It's the Packers plus Garrett Wilson. So I think that's going to be slow. But then the defense, I really think they'll come out firing. They know how to defend Josh Allen. Obviously, the Bills' O-line is not the greatest right now. Yeah, I think our Jets D-line is going to be there's so much depth on it. I really think Josh Allen's going to be under pressure a lot. So I'm going with a dogfight. I really don't see much scoring. So with the final score, I've been trying to decide where I want to go, but just because I'm just going to do it, I'm going 24-21 Jets.
Well, I would hope you would pick the Jets. I wouldn't want you to be picking the Bills on this show. So thank you for that. But I'm with you completely. I think both quarterbacks are going to be in hell, honestly. I think the D-line of the Jets is going to eat against the Bills tackles in this first game before they figure out some adjustments for protections and everything else. I think Josh is going to be running around a lot. I think getting 250 yards passing would be a win for Josh, honestly, and keep it clean. Like that's really the biggest thing. If the Bills are going to win this game, they need to win the turnover battle against this team because the crowd, any kind of turnover, that kind of momentum, it's going to be a close game, and any kind of big play can shift it one way or the other. But I also think the Bills, even without Vaughn, I think Greg Rousseau and Ed Oliver are going to have bigger years than last year. I think especially Rousseau I'm really high on, but Leonard Floyd on the other side is a great guy to have to just be filling in for Vaughn. But I think Rousseau and Oliver, and especially those the D tackles of the Bills, I'm just very high on the Bills D line. I don't know what'll happen if they don't get pressured. I know Rodgers is going to try to get the ball in his hands a lot, but I don't think he's going to like getting hit. And I think it's going to be low scoring like you. I was honestly going to say 24-21 Bills, so I'll say 27-24 Bills just so we're not the same score. But I think that's where we're at, like mid-20s, maybe first to 25 type game wins. Even could be like I even could see 20-17, 21-17, something like that being like this feels like it's going to be a great game though. Like it's going to match the drama and match what we want it to. As much as I wanted to say the Bills can come in and come fire and guns ablaze, I think this is one of their hardest games on their schedule, honestly, just with the talent, the talented team that they're facing, and everything else that's going to happen with them this season, Jets wise, but also just the spot that they're in. Monday Night Football, all eyes on them in that stadium. It's just going to be really hard to come out of there with a win. But Josh shows up in prime time, always has, always will. So I'll go down with the Bills win week 1, and then we should be rolling after that. So.
Yeah, that intensity Monday night, it's going to be something that Jets fans have never seen at MetLife Stadium, maybe at the Meadowlands.
Yeah,
before,
really never at MetLife.
It's never. I mean, it's probably going to be the first time. That's the first time I'm gonna ever see that. Like the biggest crowd I've ever seen at MetLife wasn't even for a Jets game. It was for a soccer game, and that intensity was loud. It can get loud in those stadiums, and I've been seeing all over. They're telling Jets fans to be in their seats early. They want them in their seats by 7:30. They want those chants going. They want to make the Bills' lives even harder than they've ever seen at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast, and especially after we get through a weekend of games, we get all Sunday. That's the nice part. I don't like waiting, but I do like the fact that everybody else gets to go through their stress, and then we can just kind of enjoy Monday. It gets its own time. Don't have to be stressed out during Sunday, and I don't have to worry about it tonight. So before we get out of here, we've got a game in about less than an hour now, right? 45 minutes here. Chiefs, I believe the line I saw them. They're down to -4 from 4.5 with the Kelsey news officially out. So everybody jumped on the Lions. The over/under is 52.5. What are you thinking? What are you thinking tonight happens? Chiefs, Lions, football's back. It should be a fun game. I think it's going to be a really exciting game. But what do you think?
Yeah, I'm so excited. But I'm really liking that Lions +4. Got to think Mahomes has never had a game where he hasn't had either Kelsey or Tyreek Hill with him to help him out. He has a lot of inexperience or a lot of veterans that just haven't really. They have MVS. He's not really anything that's ever. Then you got Sky Moore, who really didn't see much playing time last year. You got Rashee Rice, who's a rookie, obviously. In that running back room, you got Pacheco, yes, and you have McKinnon. Yes, they have experience, but where is Mahomes going to throw the ball? His tight ends are Noah Gray, and I don't even know the other guy. There's not much going on. Obviously, Mahomes is going to find it. It's obviously Patrick Mahomes, but I'm liking the Dan Campbell Lions this year, and I'm liking that +4, and I'm liking that offense even without J-Mo yet. Obviously, he's out for a few weeks, but I'm loving this Lions team this year. I think they're going to do some things in the weak NFC South this year without Aaron Rodgers running the show.
All right. Rob Ryan's all in on the Lions. I did take Chiefs -4.5 and the over. I just won't bet against Patrick Mahomes. But everything you said is right. And that line is so tough, man.
Yeah.
For tonight. 4 and 4.5 for this game. It feels like that's where it's going to be. Like I feel like 31-27 is like the perfect score, like 35-31.
And that's it's going to be dogfight, and it's going to be close.
I went with the Chiefs just because I think they'll win. I said 38-28 because they'll get it'll be 31-28, and they'll have some long 8-minute fourth quarter drive where Mahomes just is surgical and they'll score a touchdown. And that's where I put them at. But I think this game could go either way. I am very high in the Lions. I have them making the playoffs this year. I'm higher on the Packers, but we'll see what happens. I'm just happy that we're watching NFL football tonight.
I've been waiting.
We're back. We're so back.
I've been waiting ever since they got that. Ever since Aaron Rodgers went on the McAfee show and said, "My intention is to play for the New York Jets." I've been waiting for this day, and it's finally here, and just ready to roll. And here we go. And
today, Rodgers back on the McAfee show too, coming full circle.
Yep.
It's on the first day of the McAfee show.
Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays are back.
They are back, so that'll be. Hey, I'll be locked in Tuesday for the first Aaron Rodgers Tuesday of the year next week. But yeah, good vibes all around. I think from us, I'm excited for you, Rob, because I know what it's like for the previous 17 years of my life before Josh Allen and Brandon Beane. And I don't want anybody, even a Jets fan, would never wish that upon anybody. The Patriots right now, I'm wishing it upon them.
Oh, I hope they never have
but you deserve
ever again.
you guys deserve some nice things too. So I hope it's a fun year and an exciting year. But I still hope that we win both games and win the division.
And it should be a dogfight up to the end, and I'm ready for it. I'd rather see that than being out by week 4.
Exactly, bro. You're gonna have so much fun. Just enjoy the ride. Like there's gonna be so much fun football being played by the New York Jets this year, and that's not something that you've been able to say in the past, especially quarterback play. Like Rodgers, I just think he's gonna be solid. I think he's gonna be good again.
I've never
he just
seen
didn't give a shit last year.
Jets. Yeah,
exactly. You don't
didn't
even
give a shit, and
like it could be anybody.
I would have been happy for friggin' Jimmy Garoppolo to come here. Like,
well, it's not Jimmy G. It's Aaron freaking Rodgers, and I think he's gonna be ready for the moment. That's the fun part about that game too. Rodgers and Allen, boys, like it's good. They're gonna love to compete against each other on this stage too. I'm sure we're gonna have some big Monday Night Football segment with like talking about Allen and Rodgers and their thing and whatever, but it should be fun. It's going to be a good atmosphere, but let's go get some food, make some grub and settle in for Thursday Night Football. Football is back. Thank you all for joining. We paid the bills. Have a good night, folks.